single week. And this particular one is actually not originals, but since St. Patrick's Day was this past Wednesday, figured I'd do some Irish tunes. I really only knew one, and then I kind of made it a challenge to myself to learn some more traditional Irish songs, and some, I guess, non-traditional, that only one artist has really done. Like this first one. So when I first really got into Irish music, the last song that am going to be doing is the one that I'm going to be doing there. But some of the early Irish music that I was exposed to was songs by the Chieftains, and they're a really, really good band out of Ireland. And this is one of my favorites by them. This is a song called The Wren, and I hope you enjoy it. Oh, the wren, he's the king of our birds. On St. Stephen's Day gets caught in the verse. So it's up with the kettle and it's down with the pan. Won't you give us a penny for to bury the wren? Well, it's Christmas time, that's why we're all here. Please be good enough to give us an ear. We'll sing and we'll dance if you give us a chance, and we won't be coming back for another whole year. We'll play carry pokers, it's real loud stuff. We'll play it on the Mason's apron and stuff. And John Maroney's giggle, put a jig in your stew. Let's try that again. Well, we'll play carry pokers, it's real loud stuff. We'll play the Mason's apron and the pinch and snuff. John Maroney's gig and the dongle's real. Put music to put a spring in your ear. If there's a drink in the house, so to make itself known, for I sing a song on the banks of the Lone, and I'll drink with you if the occasion and in, for the poor dry throat, and I'll sing like a linen. Oh, please give us something for the little bird's wake. A big lump of pudding or some Christmas cake, or a fistful of goose or a hot cup of tea, and then we'll be going on our way. Oh, the wren, he's the king of our birds. On St. Stephen's Day gets caught in the verse. So it's up with the kettle and it's down with the pan. Won't you give us something for to bury the wren? All right, and that was The Wren, like I said, by the Chieftains. They were one of the first Irish groups that I was ever exposed to before even going to Ireland or anything like that. Just a really, really talented group, and have collaborated with a lot of other folks. One that I was going to do initially that I just couldn't really work out on guitar was one called Raglan Road that Van Morrison, another Irish musician, did with the Chieftains, and so they've collaborated with a lot of people in like mainstream music, if that makes sense, but don't always get the love that they deserve. So my friend Paul comes in to Memphis once or twice a year, and almost always one of his gigs is right around St. Patrick's Day. And so I happened to see him not yesterday, but the Friday before that. And he always incorporates this into his set pretty much whenever I see him, whether it's St. Patrick's Day or not. But this is Whiskey in the Jar, and I hope you enjoy it. As I was going over the far-famed Gary Mountains, I met with Captain Farrell, his money he was counting. I first produced my pistol, then produced my saber, saying stand and deliver, or you were a bold deceiver. Black Ball and Daddy-O, Whack-Ball and Daddy-O, there's whiskey in the jar. I counted out his money and it made a pretty penny. I put it in my pocket and took it home to Jenny. She sighed and she swore that she never would deceive me, but the devil take the women, 'cause they never make it easy. Whack full of Daddy-O, whack full of Daddy-O, there's whiskey in the jar. I went up to my chamber, all for to take a slumber. I dreamed of golden jewels, and it sure was no wonder. But Jenny blew me charges, and she filled them up with water. Then she sent for Captain Farrell, ready for the slaughter. Whack full of Daddy-O, whack full of Daddy-O, there's whiskey in the jar. I went up to my chamber. 1 second. We're back from the chamber. And 'twas early in the morning, just before I rose to travel. Up comes a band of footmen, and likewise Captain Farrell. I first produced me pistol, but she stole away my saber. I couldn't shoot the water, so a prisoner I was taken. Whack full of Daddy-O, whack full of Daddy-O, there's whiskey in the jar. There's some that take delight in the carriages a-rolling, and others take delight in the hurling and the bowling. But I take delight in the juice of the barley, and counting pretty fair maids in the morning bright and early. Whack full of Daddy-O, whack full of Daddy-O, there's whiskey in the jar. And if anyone can hate me, it's me brother in the army. And if I can find a station in Cook or in Killarney, and if he will go with me, we'll go roving through Kilkenny. And I'm sure he'll treat me better than my own sporting Jenny. Whack full of Daddy-O, whack full of Daddy-O, there's whiskey in the jar. Whack full of Daddy-O, whack full of Daddy-O, there's whiskey in the jar. All right, and that was Whiskey in the Jar. This one says it's by the Dubliners, but I'm sure it's been done by multiple people. And speaking of songs that have been done by multiple people, this next one is a song called The Parting Glass, and this version, the lyrics that I pulled up, which I'm sure are the same because it's a traditional tune, but the lyrics that I pulled up were from the version from the High Kings, I should say. However, I first heard it during the silo sessions that Josh Ritter was doing. He played it in one of those. But Ed Sheeran has released a version of it, which, and a lot of other people have. So this is my version of The Parting Glass. Of all the money that I ever had, I spent it all in good company, and all the harm that I have done, alas, it was to no one but me. And of all I've done for want or wit, to memory I can't recall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be to you all. So fill to me the parting glass, and drink our health to whate'er befalls. Then gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. Of all the comrades that I have had, they're sorry for my going away. And of all the sweethearts that I have had, they'd wish me one more day to stay. But since I fell into my lot, that I should rise and you should not, I'll gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. Fill to me the parting glass, and drink a health to whatever befalls. Then gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. La 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 la. But since I fell into my lot, that I should rise and you should not, I'll gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. So fill to me the parting glass, and drink a health to whatever befalls. And gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. All right, and that was the parting glass. Like I said, a lot of different people have done versions of that, but the one that I pulled up was by the High Kings, and I'll circle back to them in a second. But this next one, we're going back to the Dubliners, actually, and this is a song called Molly Malone, and I hope you enjoy it. In Dublin's fair city, where the girls are so pretty, I first set my sights on sweet Molly Malone. And she wheeled the wheelbarrow, new streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. Alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. She was a fishmonger, and sure 'twas no wonder, for so were her father and mother before. And they both wheeled their barrows through streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. Alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. She died of a fever, and no one could would save her. And that was the end of sweet Molly Malone. But her ghost wheels and barrow through streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. All right, and that was Molly Malone by the Dubliners. This next one is the Fields of Athenry. This is another new one that I discovered when I was trying to compile some Irish tunes. I hope you enjoy it. By a lonely prison wall, I heard a young girl calling, my darling, taking you away, for you stole Trevion's corn, so the young may see the morn. Now a prison ship lies, waiting by the bay. Low lie the fields of Athenry, where once we watched the small freemen fly. Our love was on the wing, we had dreams and songs to sing. It was so lonely round the fields of Athenry. By a lonely prison wall, I heard a young man calling, nothing matters, Mary, when you are free against the famine and the crown. I rebelled, they cut me down, now you must raise our child with dignity. Low lie the fields of Athenry, where we once watched the small free birds fly. Our love was on the wing, we had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely round the field of Athenry. By the lonely arbor wall, she launched the last of all, as the prison ship sailed out against the sky. Sure she'll wait and hope and pray for her love by Botany Bay. It's so lonely round the fields of Athenry. Low lie the fields of Athenry, where we once watched the small free birds fly. Our love was on the wing, we had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely around the fields of Athenry. It's so lonely around the fields of Athenry. All right, and that was the Fields of Athenry. Hope you enjoyed that one. Sad song, but there are a lot of songs on here. I was laughing because, Irish music just makes me really happy, and yet I somehow found the saddest Irish songs to do for a lot of these. So that kind of made me laugh, but there's just undying hope in the Irish people, and that's a really cool thing. So this next one is another traditional one. These lyrics pulled up are the Corries, and it's a song called "Will You Go, Lassie Go." Bob Dylan actually recorded this under the title "Wild Mountain Time." So that's the version that's going to appear when I repost the playlist and all of that. But this is "Will You Go, Lassie Go," and I hope you enjoy. Oh, the summertime is come and the trees are sweetly blooming. The wild mountain thyme is blooming with the heather. Will ye go to see go? And we'll all go together to pull our mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will ye go, lassie, go? I will build my love umbrella, my own crystal fountain, and around it I will buy all the flowers of the mountain. Will ye go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to mow our mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will ye go, lassie, go? I will range through the wilds and the deep glens dreary, and return with their spoils to the bower, oh my dearie. Will ye go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to mow our mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will ye go, lassie, go? If my true love, she will not come, then I'll surely find another to mow our mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will ye go, lassie, go? Will ye go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to mow our mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will ye go, lassie, go? Will ye go, lassie, go? All right, and that was Will You Go, Lassie, Go? Again, that version was by the Coreys, but there's a version of that Bob Dylan does off of his self-acclaimed self-portrait album. And actually, I say self-acclaimed, but he actually intentionally released an album he thought was going to be terrible, just to get people off his back. I do that, and nobody notices the difference. But that was that, and that's exactly my point in playing that. That suddenly self-portrait doesn't look so bad. But this next one actually was also cut by Bob Dylan and appeared on one of the bootleg series. So I don't think it was actually released. I mean, it was released because he just gets ahead of the bootlegs and does that. But it was not on a proper studio album, I guess would be the way to put it. But this is the Old Triangle, AULD, and this version is also by the Dubliners. But like I said, Bob Dylan has recorded a version of it, and I hope you enjoy my version. A hungry feeling came over me, stealing, and the mice were squealing in my prison cell. when that old triangle goes jingle, jingle all along the banks of the Royal Canal. To me in the morning, the screw it was bawling, get 'em, you loser, and lean 'em yourself. And that old triangle went jingle, jingle all along the banks of the Royal Canal. Now the screw was peeping as the lag lay sleeping, dreaming about his girl Sal. And that old triangle went jingle, jingle all along the banks of the Royal Canal. Oh, the wind was rising and the day was declining, and the lady I'm praying in my risen cell. And that old triangle went jingle, jingle all along the banks of the Royal Canal. In the female prison there are 75 women, and among them now I wish I knew well where that old triangle went jingle, jingle all along the banks of the Royal Canal. All right, and that was Old Triangle by the Dubliners, and I found a version by Bob Dylan, so I knew it was good enough for this show. Speaking of Bob Dylan, this next song that I'm going to do is a song called The Wild Rover, and as I was working this out, I was like, this sounds really familiar. And not just the way that I was playing it, like I knew that that was like genuinely the chord progression. And I was like, this sounds really familiar and sounds like the times they were changing. And I knew that, you know, early Bob Dylan was heavily influenced by a lot of folk songs and all of that. And so I knew it was a possibility. And sure enough, I looked it up and it said, oh, yeah, it was inspired by Scottish and Irish folk songs in terms of melodies. So I'm going to do The Wild Rover, and also I'm going to do The Times They Are Changing. I've been a wild rover for many's a year, and I've spent all my money on whiskey and beer. But now I'm returning with gold in great store, and I never will blame the wild rover no more. And it's known I never no more will I blame the wild rover, no, never no more. I went to an alehouse I used to frequent, and I told the landlady my money was spent. I asked her on credit, she answered me nay. Such a custom of yours I had never any day. And it's known I never no more will I blame the wild rover, no, never no more. I took from my pocket 10 sovereigns bright, and the landlady's eyes opened wide with delight. She said I'd have the whiskey and wines of the best, and when the words that you told me were only in jest, and it's known I never, no more. Will I play the Wild Rover? No, never, no more. I'll go home to my parents, confess what I've done, and I'll ask them to pardon their prodigal son. And when they've caressed me as oft times before, I never will play the Wild Rover no more. And it's known I never, no more. Will I play the Wild Rover? No, never, no more. And it's known I never, no more. Will I play the Wild Rover? No, never, no more. Come gather round, people, wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and admit that it's soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, then you'd better start swimming or you'll be drenched to the bone. The time they are a-changing. Come writers, come critics who prophesize with their pen, and keep your eyes wide, the chance won't come again. And don't speak too soon, for the wheels in spin, and there's no telling who they'll be naming. For the loser now will be later to win, for the time they are a-changing. Come senators, congressmen, blazing the car. Don't stand in the doorway or block up the house, for here is the U.S. star. There's a battle outside, it is raging. It'll soon shake your windows and rattle your walls, for the time they are a-changing. Come mothers, come fathers throughout all the land. Don't criticize things that you can't understand, for your sons and your daughters are no longer in your command. And your old road is rapidly aging. Please get out of the new one if you can't lend a hand, for the times they are a-changing. The line it is drawn, the curse it is cast. The slow one now will later be fast, as the present now will later be past. The order is rapidly fading, and the first one now will later be last, for the times they are a-changing, for the times they are a-changing, for the times they are a-changing. All right, and that was the Wild Rover and the Times They're Changing. That second one is by Bob Dylan, and based on those traditional Irish melodies, and it wasn't only in the guitar part, it was in the way that he sang it. And that was that. So this next one is another new one that I came across. By the way, I want to point out, I mentioned earlier my friend Paul and how he'll come into town. And play gigs around St. Patrick's Day, and the Wild Rover was one of them. And it was funny because when I was working this out, I just ran a Google search for like, oh, traditional Irish songs, and the Wild Rover was one, and I just made a list, and the Wild Rover was one. And so when I was actually going over it, I was trying to think. I'm like, okay, I want to do these Irish songs, and I want to do, um, this one that Paul does, and I just couldn't remember the name of it. And just by coincidence, it was the Wild Rover, and so it was really, really cool. But this next one is a song called Black Velvet Band, and I hope you enjoy it. In a neat little town named on Belfast, apprentice to trade I was bound, and many an hour's sweet happiness have I spent in this neat little town. A sad misfortune came over me, which caused me to stray from the land, far away from my friends and relations, betrayed by the Black Velvet Band. Her eyes, they shone just like diamonds. I thought her the queen of the land. And her hair, it hung over her shoulder, tied up with a black velvet band. I took a stroll down Broadway, meaning I longed for to stay. When who should I mean but this pretty fair maid came a-tripping along the highway. She was both fair and handsome, her neck was just like a swan, and her hair it hung over her shoulder, tied up by a black velvet band. Her eyes, they shone just like diamonds. I thought her the queen of the land. And her hair it hung over her shoulder, tied up with a black velvet band. I took a stroll with this pretty lady, and a gentleman passing us by. Well, I knew she meant the doing of him by the roguish look in her black eye. A gold watch she took from his pocket and placed it right into my hand. And the very first thing that I said was, bad luck to the black velvet band. Her eyes, they shone just like diamonds. I thought her the queen of the land. Her hair it hung over her shoulder, brought up by a black velvet band. Next morning I had to appear. Next morning I had to appear. The judge, he says to me, young man, your case is proven clear. We before the judge and the jury. Next morning I had to appear. The judge says to me, young man, your case is proven clear. We'll give you 7 years penal servitude to be spent far away from the land, far away from your friends and relations, betrayed by the black velvet band. Her eyes, they shone just like diamonds. I thought her the queen of the land. Her hair hung over her shoulder, tied up with a black velvet band. So come on, you jolly young fellows, a warning take by me. When you're out on the town, me lads, be aware of the pretty Carlines. They'll meet you with strong drink, me lads, until you're unable to stand. And the first thing that you'll know, me lads, you visited Van Diemen's land. Her eyes, they shone just like diamonds. Her neck, it was just like a swan. Her hair it hung over her shoulder, tied up with a black velvet band. All right, and that was Black Velvet Band. I just have a couple more. This is going to be one of my shorter sets, but I just need to plug up my computer really quick. I thought I could make it, but that's not the case. So, like I said, I just have a few more, 4 more actually, to do. And we're going back to the Dubliners for this one. And this is a song that's called The Town I Loved So Well. And when I was running through it, it kind of reminded me of 2 Bee Gees songs. One of them was a song called Harry's Gate that was unreleased in 1973, which coincidentally was the same year that this Dubliners song came out. But it also reminded me of 1st of May, the Bee Gees song, and so I'm going to play that as well. But this is The Town I Loved So Well and 1st of May. In my memory, I can always see the town I loved so well, where our school played ball by the gas yard wall, and we laughed through the smoke and the smell. Going home in the rain, running up a dark lane, past the jail and down behind the fountain. Those were happy days in so many ways, in the town I loved so well. In the early morn, the factory horn called women from Craig and the moor and the park, while the man on the dole played the mother's role, fed the children and then trained the dog. Then when times got rough, there was just about enough, but they saw and knew without complaining. For deep inside was a burning pride for the town I loved so well. There was music there in the dairy air, like a language we all could understand. I remember the day when I earned my first play, playing in an old pickup man. There I spent my youth, and to tell you the truth, I was so sad to leave it all behind me. For I'd learned about life, and I found a wife in the town I loved so well. But when I returned, now my eyes had burned to see how a town could be brought to its knees by the armored cars and the bombed down bars and the gas that hangs on to every breeze. Now the army's installed by that old gas yard wall, and the damn barbed wire gets higher and higher with their tanks and their guns. Oh my God, what have they done to the town I love so well? Now the music's gone, but I carry on, for their spirit's been bruised, never broken. They will not forget, for their hearts are set on tomorrow and peace once again. For what's done is done, and what's won is won, and what's lost is gone forever. I can only pray for a bright and brand new day in the town I love so well. When I was small and Christmas trees were tall, we used to laugh while others ran and played. Don't ask me why, but time has passed us by. Someone else moved in from far away. Now we are small and Christmas trees. Now we are tall and Christmas trees are small, and you don't ask the time of day. But you and I, our love will never die. But guess we'll cry come 1st of May. The apple trees are floating through the breeze. We used to laugh and count them one by one. But I recall the moment of them all, when we realized you and I. Now we are tall and Christmas trees are small, and you don't ask the time of day. But you and I, our love will never die. But guess we'll cry on 1st of May. When I was small and Christmas trees were tall, don't ask me why, but time has passed us by. Someone is moving from far away. All right, and that was The Town I Loved So Well, paired with 1st of May by the Bee Gees. So I can't do an Irish show without doing Danny Boy, even though this song I learned has Scottish origins. But it's definitely kind of blurring that line between Scottish and Irish songs. And the next two, actually the next three, the last three that I'm going to do fall into that category. So this is Danny Boy, and I hope you enjoy it. Oh, Danny Boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the roses falling. 'Tis you must go and I must bide. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, o'er all the valleys hushed and white with snow. 'Tis I'll be there in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, I love you so. When winter's come and all the flowers are dying, and I am dead as I may be, you'll come and find the place where I am lying. You'll kneel and say an Ave there for me. but I shall hear, though soft you tread above me, and all my grave shall warmer, sweeter be. And you will bend and tell me that you love me. Oh, Danny boy, and peace will come to me. Oh, Danny boy, the stream flows cold and slowly, and pipes still echo out across the glen. Your broken mother sighs and feels so lowly, for you have not returned to smile again. So if you've died and crossed the stream before us, we pray that angels met you on the shore. And you'll look down and gently you'll implore us to live so we may see your smiling face once more. All right, and that was Danny Boy. Hope you enjoyed that. A lot of different versions of that, and like I said, that was a Scottish tune originally, but it's sung quite a bit in Ireland as well. So speaking of things that originated in Scotland, there's a song that I'll close with that's called "Red as the Rose," and I know I've done that one before, and I've mentioned that it comes from a Scottish tune called "The Bonny Banks of Loch Lomond," Lomond, I should say. But I've never actually done that one, and it's a beautiful song. And part of the reason why I wanted to learn the whole thing was because the first time I heard it, it was a spoof in Cat Dog, and about taking sheeps to the slaughterhouse. Probably better to learn the original. So this is the Bonny Banks of Loch Lomond, and I'll do the Irish version, "Red as the Rose," afterwards. By yon bonny banks and by yon bonny braes, where the sun shines bright on Loch Lomond, where me and my true love will never meet again, on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. Oh, ye'll take the high road and I'll take the low, and I'll be in Scotland afore. For me and my true love will never meet again, on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. 'Twas there that we parted on yon shady glen, on the steep, steep side of Ben Lomond, where in the purple hue the Highland hills we view, and the moon coming out in the gloaming. Oh, ye'll take the high road and I'll take the low, and I'll be in Scotland afore. For me and my true love will never meet again, on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. The wee birdies sing and the wild flowers spring, and in sunshine the waters are sleeping. But the broken-hearted kens nae second spring again, though the waeful may cease frae their greeting. Oh, ye'll take the high road, and I'll take the low, and I'll be in Scotland afore. For me and my true love will never meet again on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. For me and my true love will never meet again on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. All right. And that was, like I said, the bonny banks of Loch Lomond. According to my sources at Wikipedia, that one is the one that came first, and then sometime later, the Irish version, Red is the Rose, which has some lyrical similarities, came in. And so I'm going to close with this one. I've been told this is a good closer. And so I'm going to close with this. This is Red is the Rose. Come over the hills, my bonny Irish lass. Come over the hills to your darling. You choose the rose, love, and I'll write the vow. And I'll be your true love forever. Red is the rose that on yonder garden grows, and fair is the lily of the valley. Clear as the water that flows from the Boyne, but my love is purer than any. 'Twas down by Killarney's green woods that we strayed, when the moon and the stars, they were shining. The moon shone its rays on her locks of golden hair, and she swore she'd be my love forever. Red is the rose that on yonder garden grows, and fair is the lily of the valley. Clear as the water that flows from the Boyne, but my love is purer than any. 'Tis not for the parting that my sister pains, 'tis not for the grief of my mother, 'Tis all for the loss of me bonny Irish lass, that my heart is breaking forever. Red is the rose that on yonder garden grows, and fair is the lily of the valley. Clear as the water that flows from the boyne, but my love is purer than any. Yes, my love is purer than any. All right, and that was Red is the Rose. The High Kings did the version that I have currently on the Spotify playlist. They rush it a little bit more than I enjoy, and so I'm going to see if I can find another one. But stay tuned for that playlist. I appreciate you guys tuning in. And next week, a week from today, we are going to be celebrating the 9th anniversary of Nothing's Gonna Change the Way You Feel About Me Now, the Justin Townes Earl record, which, if I'm not mistaken, was released on the 26th, but we're just going to do it a day later. And although Wikipedia says that it was the 27th, I'll have a definite answer for you next week. But until then, stay safe out there in there. And I'm Minnesota Mike. Be sure to check me out on Spotify and iTunes. Obviously, you know I'm on YouTube. I'm on Twitch. And also Facebook and Instagram. All this Minnesota Mike. And if you'd like to tip, Minnesota Mike Music on Venmo, PayPal, and Cashapp. So thank you so much.